Once upon a time, in the land of Powhatan, there lived a little girl who we all know today as the American Indian princess, Pocahontas. But how did Monute transform into Pocahontas princess? And how did she get caught in the middle of the war between the Native Americans and the European colonists? How did she know Captain John Smith? Did they really fall in love? And how did she end up thousands of miles away in the land of England? Is she really a princess? And was her real life anything like the Disney movie that we all know today? It's time for me to answer all these questions and more, since this is ASMR Aaron, back at it again with another daily video to help you relax. So lay back and enjoy the ride. I hope this video gets you through your day, or even better, I hope this read helps you gently fall asleep. I can't wait to get started. This is the tale of Pocahontas. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Amut, who was born into a powerful collective of tribes known as Powhatan in 1595. And guys, I'm sorry if I pronounce any of these wrong. I'm going to do my best, but I'm still excited for this story. The ruler of his tribe was Chief Pocahontas, Amut's father. Sadly, her mother died giving birth. Where did the name Pocahontas come from? And what does it mean? It translates as playful one. And while that isn't a definite meaning, it certainly seems to have summed up a little of Pocahontas. She was apparently a happy child with an acquiring mind. Another name used for her was Motoka. When it came to her upbringing, Pocahontas was far from a princess. She was required to master the art of stuff like cooking, making clothes, things women were expected to do at this time. But she also learned about the buildings and farming, so she must have had some pretty sweet skills under her belt. It wasn't long before Princess Pocahontas' life was turned upside down. Colonialists from Europe landed on Powhatan shores in 1607 when she was still a child. They named the land where they lived on Virginia, and amongst their number was a Captain John Smith. While Pocahontas and Smith are believed to have been friends, there were tension between the colonialists and Powhatan, tensions that erupted into violence. Captain Smith was one day abducted by Pocahontas' brother. By his account, he was going to be executed, but she intervened and saved his life. She would do this not once, but twice. Sounds like a superhero to me. Later on, Pocahontas warned Captain Smith of an attack being mounted by the Powhatan, who wanted to show the colonists. Sorry, I just drank some water. Who wanted to show the colonialists who was in charge of the territory once and for all. The colonialists were struggling to establish themselves and relied on the Powhatan to sustain them. Pocahontas played a key role in this, acting as a missionary. I'm assuming that's like an ambassador. Yet still, the hostiles carried on, and it was an only matter of time before this situation impacted on Pocahontas forever. She was kidnapped by another captain the dastardly Samuel Argyle. He took her away from her husband Coquillon, who she'd married in 1609. Reportedly, Argyle negotiated with Chief Pocahontas for his daughter's safe return. The chief wouldn't meet the captain's conditions, so Pocahontas stayed on the ship. It was the beginning of a whole new chapter in her life. It wasn't how thought things would turn out for her, though, for sure. But Pocahontas learned English, converted to Christianity, and got married again. Her second husband was John Rolfe, a colonialist and cultivator of tobacco. And Pocahontas and John had a son named Thomas. The partnership was politically useful, and she wouldn't have been free unless she entered the agreement. However, they became a kind of power couple whose inspiring union brought the two warring sides together for a while. At this point, Pocahontas had her name changed to Rebecca, and in 1616 the family set sail for England. This was part of a mission on behalf of the Virginian Company, who'd sent the colonialists in the first place. While Pocahontas couldn't really be described as a princess before, she certainly was now. Well, she went by the little Lady Rebecca Rolfe. Anyway, and was celebrated in London society. She met the British royal family, where she probably encountered some English princesses. We'd like to say things ended up happily ever after for Princess Pocahontas, but tragically they didn't. She was set to return to America when the voyage was forced to derive it from Graveston in England, county of Kent. Pocahontas was fatefully ill, though it's not clear with what. Some think she might even have been poisoned. She passed away in 1617, having just entered her 20s, and was buried in Kent, many miles from her home. The controversy about Pocahontas focuses on depictions of her in the media. You may have seen the Disney movie about Pocahontas. It did not happen like that. In The House of Mouse, version's Captain John Smith is a chiseled hero voiced by Mel Gibson. The reality appears to be quite different. Doubt was cast on whether Pocahontas saved Smith's life that day at all. They were reportedly close, but Captain Smith only described being put to death by Pohan later. So his tale of escaping execution is regarded today as a myth. He's thought to have done that to boost his profile. Pocahontas ran into her pal in London, and according to the records, while she was glad to see him, she also betrayed him over what had happened with Pocahontas. Perhaps worst of all, the Disney release showed a romance between Captain Smith and Pocahontas. This seems to be way out of whack. She was way too young for starters. Unfortunately, the movie script is what many associate the Princess Pocahontas, but my personal opinion is yes, there was some myth-truths in that version of telling the story, but one thing that I think, maybe I'm wrong, you guys can tell me, is that I think I'm really excited on how much awareness and how many eyeballs this brought the story of Pocahontas, because as we can see, it is a great story, and she was an amazing girl and did amazing things. So my personal hot take might not be the most popular, but I think the more times we tell these stories and the more we share them, I think the better off we'll be. And people can do the research now, and we're excited that Google exists. And that's how we learned all this, and that's how the story was written here as well. So either way, there were some bad things, but also some good things too. And however her story is presented, she remains an intriguing figure, and one who will be remembered in history forever. If you guys listened this long, I hope it helped you unwind. I hope maybe you learned something, or more importantly, I hope it helped you gently fall asleep. I'm uploading a video every day as usual. I'm doing about 2 or 3 recently because of the situation going on. I hope that it helps in some way, us unwinding, and since all the news is flooding us with information that we do need to know. Sometimes when we want to go to sleep or calm down, we need to turn off our brains, and maybe this will help, maybe something else will help, but regardless, we're going to get through it, and I'm super excited to see all the great things that we're doing together. Thanks again. Until tomorrow, this is ASMR Aaron signing off.